And in the second game out in San Francisco, we watched Duke come from behind to beat Texas Tech 78-73. So Coach K against Muss in the Elite Eight. That's going to happen on Saturday, and we'll get into that next. But first, real quick, a word from our sponsors. So the final score in the Chase Center, second game of the night, it was Duke 78, Texas Tech 73. This one ended right before we started recording this podcast, and it was really impressive stuff from Duke. You know, they were down for the second straight game, down in the final 5 minutes with like normal NCAA tournament pressure on them, but also Coach K retirement pressure on them. It's like double pressure. Oh, by the way, that was hilarious early in the week when Mike Krzyzewski said, our players have incredible pressure on them because of, he was implying because of my situation. He said, but it's not pressure we're putting on them. It's pressure other people are putting on them. I'm like, what? Dude, the only reason they're under that pressure is because you wanted to do this. like North Carolina's players weren't under that kind of pressure last year because they had no idea that Roy Williams was going to retire when the season was over. Like you announced in the summer, this is going to be the deal. The pressure was and I like Mike Krzyzewski. I think he's wonderful for the sport. But dude, you created that pressure.
No one ever accused him of being self-aware, I would say.
Like your retirement tour, the pressure you're referencing right now, you created that. That ain't me. I didn't do it. Nobody else who writes or talks for a living did it. You said I'm going to have one more season, and when we lose in the NCAA tournament, if we lose in the NCAA tournament, my career is done. If that's the pressure you're talking about, and that is the pressure he was talking about, then that was created by you. But whatever. My larger point is his players handled the pressure immensely well once again. Down 68-66, 2:58 left against Texas Tech. Boom, immediately going a 7-0 run in 85 seconds to go up 73-68. After that, they were never tied again, never behind again. Duke advances to the Elite Eight. They slapped the floor. That was awesome. Coach K gave like a Tiger Woods fist pump. That was awesome. It was a really good, high-level, heavyweight fight, and Duke won it once again. And, I know that, technically Duke was an underdog against Texas Tech. So, some people thought they were going to lose that game. And then they would be underdog to Gonzaga. But now they get past Texas Tech, and I don't know if a number is out yet for Duke, Arkansas, but if you go to KenPom right now, it has Duke projected as a 76-72 winner. So Duke's going to be a favorite against the Razorbacks on Saturday, which means at this point, for the first time in this NCAA tournament, this is now true. Mike Krzyzewski is expected to be in New Orleans coaching in the Final Four, which is a television executive's dream.
Oh, boy. And North Carolina has a chance to be in the Final Four as well.
Wouldn't that be something?
Ooh, boy. Oh, boy. Not a sweating over here. Yeah, that would be something. This was really impressive by Duke. This win gives Coach K his 100th NCAA tournament win, gives Duke its 17th Elite Eight appearance under Coach K. It's already an NCAA record. I was so impressed with what I saw from Duke. I really thought the way that Texas Tech played to open the game, they started with their hair on fire. They were the more physical team. They were a more aggressive team. It looked like they kind of had Duke in a chokehold early in this game. The defense that Texas Tech plays, we thought would be a potential problem for Duke, and it was a problem for most of this game. In fact, Texas Tech led for more than 26 minutes of this 40-minute game. But down the stretch, Mark Williams was nails. Jeremy Roach had some really strong plays down the stretch. And then Paolo Banchero just continuing to put on a really quality NCAA tournament appearance as a true freshman. I was really impressed with their resolve down the stretch. In the second half, Mark Williams had 12 points, 4 boards, 1 block. Banchero had 11 points. So did Jeremy Roach. This was I wouldn't have been surprised if Duke had just kind of wilted down the stretch, just the way that Texas Tech plays. They're so physical. I feel like they can kind of wear you down. But they had their stars stepped up in the biggest moments down the stretch, making big shots. They had that huge run late to kind of put it away. And now Duke's in the Elite Eight with a chance to maybe go to the Final Four in Coach K's final year. This was overall, I think this was a promising performance for Duke. And after not being necessarily totally impressed with him the first two rounds, um, I now think that this could end up being like Duke. Duke has a chance. They're going to be probably the favorite to go to at least the Final Four and probably to the national championship game. I would think at this point. We'll see, but this was really impressive from the Blue Devils.
Well, I don't want to oversimplify it, but in the second half, you know what it looked like to me? The team with a bunch of 5-stars, like had a bunch of 5-stars start playing like 5-stars. Yeah. Jeremy Roach took over. Paulo was making big plays. I mean, if you just look across the board, Paulo Banchero, 22 points, 4 rebounds. He was 7 of 12 from the field. Mark Williams, 6 of 9 from the field, 16 points, 8 rebounds. Big time dunk in the second half. Roach went 7 of 11 from the field, 15 points. Like, Coach K talked to Tracy Wolfson after the game, and he always says stuff like this, like, it's not coaching. I don't think he actually believes that. He shouldn't. Like, coaching is a part of this stuff. It's not like I'm not even like trying to be goofy. Like, I don't even know if he believes it. He shouldn't believe it. It's not true. Coaching always has something to do with this stuff. But it really did get to a point where that's Paulo Banchero just being awesome. That's like a guy who might be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft just being awesome. And all of that awesome talent is what largely allowed Duke. They shot 52% from the field against the number 1 defense in America. I mean, they were really, really effective and efficient offensively against a Texas Tech team that has just suffocated most of its opponents for a significant amount of time. So, yeah, that was super impressive. And now, like, as we stated, it's obvious that Duke is going to be favored in the Elite Eight. And if Duke wins that game, then it advances to the Final Four. And you're looking at some combination, or like it would either be at this point a Final Four game against North Carolina, UCLA, Purdue, or St. Peter's. And I believe out of those teams, I mean, the only one ranked ahead of them right now at KenPom is UCLA. And so if, barring a shift in the KenPom numbers, and there will be some movement, obviously, but like there's a chance Duke could go to the Final Four and then be favored in its national semifinal. Not only a chance, there's a good chance. They could be favored in their national semifinal, and Coach K could coach his final game on the first Monday night in April, which would be, I mean, listen, if you're a fan of a team Duke's playing, I get it. You should be rooting against Duke. And if you just hate Duke to your core for some reason that doesn't make sense to me, but it's fine, I don't care, then I get it. But like, what would be cooler or bigger than Coach K coaching on the first Monday night in April? We now know, win or lose, that's his last game. He's got a chance at a walk-off championship. Like, I love stuff like that. You hate stuff like that?
Oh, I love it. I'm here for it. I recognize there's a large swath of our audience that is just actively rooting for us to stop talking about Duke. But that would just be fantastic, I think, for the sport. I mean, this whole season has been kind of building up to this. Duke has been one of the best teams all season. Coach K has been one of the biggest storylines throughout the season because we know that he's retiring. To have him coaching the final game of the season would just be pretty awesome. And the matchups that, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but I mean, it's possible it could be Coach K versus Bill Self, or, I don't want to get too far ahead, but it's fantastic for the sport. That's kind of what I think it boils down to.
It could be the storied rivalry between Coach K and TJ Otzelberger.
You never know.
One more time for the championship, Mike Krzyzewski and TJ Otzelberger.